Okay, I'm going to assume you're watching this on a big enough screen that you can see what I'm writing here, so I'm not going to zoom in and out. I got it just lined up right. Anyway, here's problem number 14. I jumped around. I wanted to show you one thing. I did this as an intermediate step just to show you. When we're looking at what the common denominator is, what we want to do is say, okay, like if we split this apart, if we factored all of the denominators to see what pieces were there, this piece has a p and a p minus 4. This one already has the p, so it's going to need to get multiplied by the p minus 4, which we'll do. And this number here, the 1, doesn't have either of them, so we're going to have to multiply top and bottom by p times p minus 4, otherwise known as p squared minus 4p, right? So that's what I did down here. I multiplied this one by p squared minus 4p, top and bottom, because this is like multiplying by 1. I multiplied this by p minus 4 because that will give us the p squared minus 4p in the bottom that we need. Okay? And once we do that, you can see that this one didn't change because it already had the denominator we needed. This one was just this fraction times 1. It was really 1 times 1, so it still looks like a 1 in a funny form. Same thing top and bottom. And then this we had to FOIL through, and I just did that. P squared minus 4p minus 6p is minus 10p total plus 24. Okay, all over that. And next step, I said, okay, well, if they're both on this left side of equals, if they're both over p squared minus 4p, we can just put it over a single one, 1 plus p squared minus 4p. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by p squared minus 4p. And what's that going to do? You should already know this. Is going to cancel that out there. It's going to cancel that out there. And so what we're left with is just, when reordered, because I reordered this now into p squared first, minus 4p plus 1 equals p squared minus 10p plus 24. That's that right there. I'm going to put that up on the next line, right there. And what we want to do then is start simplifying it. And so what did I do here? I just subtracted p squared, which happens to be on both sides, p squared and p squared. So now we've gotten rid of the squared term, and we're now just down to a p term and a constant. So that simplifies to that. I'm going to add 10p to both sides, and what we get is 6p plus 1 equals 24. I'm sorry it's a little bit lighter because I was zoomed out. I zoomed in further, so my pen looks smaller. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is, instead of putting it all on one side equal to 0, I don't need to do that because I'm not factoring it. I don't need to think about it like that. I'm just solving for p. Okay? And so I subtract 1 from both sides, and I get 6p equals 23. And then I divide both sides by 6, and I get p is equal to 23 over 6. You could actually turn that into a mixed number. 6 goes into 23 3 times, with 5 left over. So you could also call that p is equal to 3 and 5/6. Those are equivalent amounts. I tend to, as long as the fraction is simplified, leave it improper. Sometimes it's useful. Anyway, that's how you do that one. So I don't know how many of these you want me to do. They're fun. I enjoy doing them. They'll take me a while to do them all, though. So you left this one blank, so I'll do that one. I'm going to see if there's any other ones that you left blank on those two images you sent me, and I'll do those.